Hey guys, it's Seanithan here. I know it's been a long time since I've done anything on here or on Twitch or on anything like that. So before I get into the video, let me give you guys an explanation of where I've been and what's been going on. If you aren't interested in that, just go ahead and go to the time on screen to skip straight to the main body of the video. So what happened was back in June, we learned that my wife was pregnant, and that immediately threw a wrench into a whole bunch of plans that we had. Now, it was a fairly happy wrench, but it was still a wrench. In July, after that, my hours at my job were cut down to 11 hours a week, and so both of those things together led to the decision to move to Oklahoma because of the combination of better jobs here and being in closer proximity to my wife's family and stuff like that so they can help with the baby. Now for the fun part. We are staying in a place owned by my in-laws so we can save up money for baby stuff and buying a house and all that junk. The downside to being here is that the internet has an average down speed of 1 megabit per second. And this means no stream for the duration of the time that we'll be here, which is going to be about a year or so, and also means no online gaming. And as a person who mostly streamed Dark Souls and Call of Duty, and if I put up videos, that's also what I put up, this will really affect the kind of content that I'll be able to put out. So for right now, I'm just going to be doing reviews and stuff like that until I can get good internet again. That's what I'm trying to do. But anyways, on with the video. So for my first review ever, the game about which I plan on speaking is Daggers. I picked this game to review for several reasons, but one of the big ones is because I feel this game needs a lot more attention from players. Because at the time of this recording, it is 8:30 p.m. on a Tuesday, and the game has 21 current players with a 30-day average of 16 players, according to Steam charts. I find this extremely unfortunate, as the game is extremely fun. Plus, at only $5 on Steam, you really can't go wrong with it. The main selling point of the game truly is the fantastic story. You're trapped in an arena, and then a magical satanic dagger appears in front of you, and you pick it up and it gives you the incredible power of being able to shoot glowing daggers from your hand, which is nice because right around the time that you pick up the dagger, the minions of hell converge on you and try to kill you, and they will most likely succeed time and time again. So yeah, that's the entire story, and yeah, I was being sarcastic. It's kind of lame. It's not a great story. But the game doesn't need a story, I think. That's what this game is. It's just an arcade game. The beauty of the game lies within its gameplay and near infinite replayability, because it's just like a maximum time-based arcade shooter. That's what you're doing with this. You're just trying to see how long you can last. The waves of enemies come, and eventually you will die. But then you'll immediately start right back up, and you'll get further than you did the last time, and then you'll die. And then the next time you'll start right back up, and you'll get further than you did last time, and then you'll die. And that's how that works. You just keep playing, you keep getting further. Every time you play, you'll get further than you did the time before. And you'll keep going, and eventually you'll make it the furthest you've ever had. You'll beat everybody else, supposedly, unless of course you just have a random embarrassing death and get killed by the first skull that comes to you. That could happen too, but most people won't do that. That's just me. And you can check your maximum survival time against the online leaderboard, and what's even great is you can watch your replays. You can watch your replays with the option of reviewing them from a top-down perspective. So in that way, instead of just seeing from the first-person perspective like the rest of the game, you can actually zoom out, look straight down from the top, and see what's going on. So you can see what went wrong in your run, see how they snuck up behind you or whatever. And you can even watch other players' replays from in your perspective, from the main view or the top-down view, to see how they handled the same obstacles that you had to go across. I think this game is everything the old arcade cabinets wanted to be, because not only are you trying to beat your high score and the other person's high score, you can view their runs and see how they did it. And to have that feature in an old cabinet just would have been awesome. So, I mentioned before that the gameplay is part of what makes the game awesome. How is the game played? And it's just about the most simple first-person shooter game there is. You move around with WASD, you jump with space, you look with the mouse. If you press and hold mouse 1, you'll shoot rapid-fire daggers. If you just single-click mouse 1, you'll shoot like a shotgun blast. And then once you earn them later on, mouse 2 fires homing daggers. Certain enemies will drop gems, and if you pick them up, it increases your dagger power. These gems will move towards you if you stop shooting, So you need to balance between shooting and not shooting to collect them because they disappear after just 10 seconds. So you need to know when to shoot, when not to shoot, and then collect the gems. And that is all there is to gameplay. At least, that's all there is on the surface, because it's more to it than just that. That's all there is to play the game, but this game is challenging. It is extremely challenging. It's like, some people say Dark Souls is hard, but I have thousands of hours in both of the Dark Souls games, that is Dark Souls and Dark Souls 3, and I'm pretty sure I've died more times in the 4 hours that I played this game than I have in the Dark Souls franchise, Demon Souls, and Bloodborne combined. To get an idea of how difficult this game is, while the game never really ends as far as I know, the game considers you to have won once you have a run that lasts 10 minutes, because you achieve the only Steam trophy the game has to offer once you've done this. And my longest run was 3 minutes, and it was rough. Like in all the Doom games, except for Doom 3, which I try not to acknowledge, if you stop moving, for the most part, you die. And there are going to be a few other similarities to Doom in the game, too. And there's a surprising amount of strategy involved, too, because of how certain enemies move around at certain times. Speaking of enemies, there's a surprisingly small roster of enemies, and most of the enemies that do exist are just more powerful, cooler-looking versions of other enemies, but there's exactly enough diversity to keep you on your toes, so no real complaints about the enemy roster. The enemies are kind of divided up into categories. You have squid-type enemies, skull-type enemies, spider-type enemies, centipede-type enemies, and unique enemies. The squid-type enemies exist to spawn skull-type enemies, and they spawn more skulls and more powerful skulls as the squids increase in level. You can kill these guys right away, or you can keep them alive to spawn higher level skulls to farm gems. Don't do that second thing, that's stupid. Skull-type enemies are the most common enemy, and they'll chase you around the arena, moving with greater speed and more advanced movement as they increase in level. The best thing about skulls is that they keep together in groups, so you can generally tell where they are, except for when they don't and they get behind you and kill you. Spider-type enemies are the devil, doing two very evil things. First, they steal your power-up gems, and second, any power-up gems they steal become little baby spiders that wander around and kill you. Kill these guys and kill them fast. Centipede-type enemies are huge, enormous enemies that take up the entire screen. This is nice because they give you lots and lots of gems. This is bad because they make it quite hard to maneuver around the arena because of their giant bodies. Special enemies are unique little guys. The Leviathan is a unique enemy that is considered by many to be the final boss of the game, which is why I've never seen him in any of my playthroughs. The Orb is an enemy that appears when the Leviathan dies. The Orb is completely unique in that it functions in pretty much the exact same way the Leviathan does. Only one Leviathan and one Orb will appear in any given playthrough. Thorns also pop up from the ground around this time, and those will continue to pop up even after the Leviathan is dead. These enemies aren't too difficult on their own for the most part, but because of the semi-random nature of everything, because the only guarantee each round is that very specific enemies will spawn at very specific times, the enemies in tandem with each other makes for quite the wild ride. The aesthetics of this game are very interesting as well. The visuals are very retro, looking like a DOS game, if anyone remembers those days. I personally find a great deal of beauty in this simplicity. The developer knew that photorealism was virtually impossible with what he had to work with, I'm assuming, so he decided to work on a style that was guaranteed to do what he wanted, and looks pretty freaking sweet. It actually makes me think of my childhood, when I would watch my dad play Doom, and I would play Doom, and I would get caught playing Doom and told not to play Doom anymore. I'd play Doom, I'd get whipped for playing Doom. Yeah, those were the days. Even today, my wife still whips me if I play too much Doom, so history is bound to repeat itself. Another important, yet often overlooked aspect of a game's aesthetics is sound design, and boy does this game have sound. The sound is very simple, like the graphics, and reminiscent of DOS titles, but that goes perfectly with the art style, so obviously that works. Every enemy has its own sound that it makes when it moves you, chases you, dies, whatever. There is one thing that kind of bothers me just a little bit about the sound, and that is the music. As far as I've heard, the game has absolutely no music, and this may have been a design choice, or it may have been due to the limitations of the developer, I'm not sure. Either way, this is literally my only complaint about the game, and it's really a minor one. Just put on some Doom music like I've been doing for this video, and you'll be fine. In case you can't tell, I like Doom, and I like comparing this game to Doom. So, given that, my overall opinion of the game is that it's a lot of fun, you can keep playing forever, and the graphics are nice. That one sentence makes it sound awfully boring, but like I said, the only thing wrong with the game is no music. My automatic rating system gave it close to a 7 thanks to the lack of story, but the game wasn't really supposed to have a story, so if you leave out the lack of story and rate it based just on everything else, the score goes up to an 8.7, which I think it is extremely deserving of, so go pick it up on Steam. It's only $5 US, and I recommend this game highly. Terminated. You can kill these guys right away, or you can keep them alive to spawn higher levels.